And joining me now in the studio is Yannick Naud. He's a European government bond investor. Good to have you with us in these, as we're saying, uncharted waters.
Yes.
It feels like a question at the moment of who might blink first. Is it going to be the Cypriot politicians, or is it going to be the European Central Bank? Because obviously we can't stay in the same position that we are at the moment.
I mean, Cyprus is a sovereign country, so they can decide whatever they think is best for their population. Right now, there's a lot of moving parts. First of all, the population have to accept any bailout, and I think for the population to accept bailout, you need to make sure that deposit under 100,000 euro stay protected, as it should be under European regulation. This was an exception, and the population didn't understand this kind of measure. After that, you have to, obviously in the party there will be the ECB, the European Central Bank, the IMF, and Germany, as well as the European Commission. The IMF can only accept a bailout package if it's deemed to be for the country to stay solvent, and therefore by 2020 the debt to GDP have to go back to 100%. So that's limit the amount today for the bailout, probably around 10 billion. There could be some adjustment to be made, a bit of negotiation there, but we're not talking about a lot of billion. Having said that, the ECB as well, so far are still contributing to the economy. I mean, the ECB is lending already around 10 billion to the Cyprus Centrale Bank. They have in the past threatened to withdraw this assistance. The assistance is supposed to be renegotiated or rediscussed on Thursday. So everything has to go very, very quickly now.
It's very fast moving. I mean, the fact that the Cypriot Parliament rejected the bailout in its current form is no surprise. You're talking about some sort of negotiations. But can you see the Cypriot politicians agreeing to having any sort of a tax on any savers? You're talking about possibly savers who have more than 100,000 euros in the bank, maybe having that one-off tax of 10%. Do you think Cypriot politicians are going to accept that?
Well, I mean, the tax on a wealthy depositor is likely to affect more the foreign depositor. So it's the Russian, but not only the Russian. I mean, there is a 25 billion of foreign deposit, mostly Russian, but there is 1.9 billion of UK depositor as well. There's some Greek depositor. Obviously, I think one of the reasons for them to at first accept a tax on every kind of depositor was to make sure that the percentage was lower for Russian depositor. Obviously, they have to involve. Europe made probably the first mistake during the weekend not to involve Russia. Russia have to be involved as well.
Furious. Yes. Russia is, I mean, is it a far-fetched idea that we could stick to a state where Cyprus does leave the Eurozone saying, I'm sorry, we're not going to do that. We're not going to tax our very wealthy Russian investors who've been backing us all this time. And in fact, it ends up being Cyprus coming out of the Eurozone and being rescued by more Russian money, that Russia sees this as an opportunity to go in even harder with an influence.
I don't know about Russia. Russia promised a lot of things when Iceland were in trouble, and at the end never deliver. What we know for sure is that until there is a resolution, a bank will not be able to open. That's what the ECB want from the beginning. And anyway, it will not make any sense because otherwise people will withdraw all of their money.
Of course.
So every day passing, people are not able to get any money. There's less and less money in the cash dispenser. Most of the shops, a lot of shops are not accepting credit card anymore. So, the situation is becoming impossible for a resident in Cyprus. And it's very difficult to understand how all of a sudden the confidence into the banking system will reappear just because there's and the likelihood of having very, very large withdrawal of deposit with or without a deal this week is still very, very high, and we don't have the solution yet because the economy is rather small, 18 billion euro GDP, and there's 68 billion deposit, both foreign and domestic. And right now, you have to create a way to create confidence into Cyprus. And as of today, as of right now, it seems completely gone. Yeah,
it seems utterly impossible. A very dangerous situation for Cyprus. Yannick Naud, really good to get your analysis of the situation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.